And we're going to swing our attention up to New Hampshire. We're good to be joined now by James Pindell, good friend of Topline and the political director at WMUR, the ABC affiliate in Manchester, New Hampshire, joining us from Manchester. And a bit of news that you just broke on the blog, James. We're going to see Haley Barbour making his first trip to the Granite State. What do we know about it?
Well, this would be Haley Barbour's first trip for this particular year. Of course, he came up here a number of times and was active in our governor's race when he was I guess he still is the chair of or was the chair of the Republican Governors Association. But this will be his first trip. He's going to speak to the Federation of Republican Women here locally in Manchester. Probably a two-day trip where we're trying to learn more details about it. But what's surprising about this is there's a lot of rumors about the idea that he would come in March, but we're just breaking this news that he's coming a week from now. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of audiences he's able to develop with just a week's notice.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second, James, because we've seen a lot of folks come into the state. You've seen how they play. How does a Haley Barbour, do you think, play up in New Hampshire?
I think there are big questions about that. I mean, certainly he's a very charming guy. New Hampshire likes outsized personalities, sort of blunt speaking outsized personalities. Maybe even Donald Trump. So for a person who's a kind of a character like a Haley Barbour could play very well here. But he's also an establishment sort of figure. And if he emerges as more of an establishment and not an upstart, this state really likes upstarts. So I'm not sure how it works if he's more top down. This will not probably be the focus of his presidency. It should be noted that, of course, he spent a lot of time in South Carolina, was just in Iowa last week. This will be his first trip this year in New Hampshire.
Right. And let's talk about another candidate.
But I mean, let me say this. Overall, I mean, I guess I don't want to get off your topic, but one thing that's going to be fun to watch, particularly, I think New Hampshire, and I'm biased in saying this, but I think New Hampshire is going to be probably the most critical state when it comes to this early presidential primary field. For the large part, if you accept the premise that some of these other big names, like a Sarah Palin, will not be jumping into the race, and that what we're sort of left with is Mitt Romney as sort of this quasi frontrunner, but a frontrunner nonetheless of the field that exists. As you folks both know very well, because you've covered a lot of these, you have to take out the frontrunner where they have to win. And if the person is Mitt Romney, he has to win in New Hampshire. That's where we expect to see a lot of action.
No, that's an excellent point. And one of the folks who needs to get that done exactly is Tim Pawlenty, who's going to be announcing a Presidential Exploratory Committee, as ABC's Michael Falcone reports online today. Let's talk about his challenge. Has he made any inroads in New Hampshire, and what is the appeal that he can bring to distinguish himself in a field? There aren't a lot of knocks on him, but there aren't a lot of positive things necessarily you'd associate with him early going.
That's true. I mean, if you take a look at who is visiting here early and often, which is our mantra, I'm sure it's the same thing you're hearing in Iowa and in South Carolina. The two main guys are Rick Santorum and Tim Pawlenty. Now, the difference has been what have you been able to accomplish with all of these trips? And I got to give Tim Pawlenty a lot of credit. He has something to show for it. He has been building an organization very quietly from all stripes. I mean, from reaching out to more moderate, say, McCain folks. Remember, this is, John McCain is the two-time winner up here. More those kind of McCain folks that he came up here and campaigned for with, to his last trip here having a private dinner with one of the main leaders of the Tea Party movement in this state. So he's been really branched out, but he's been very aggressive. He has some things to show for it. Again, though, I mean, no one's wowed by his personality. No one's wowed by the rationale as to why I need Tim Pawlenty versus everyone else. I mean, it's a much different contest, not only running for governor of a state like Minnesota versus New Hampshire, but it's also a different contest when you have multiple options, right? When you have a field of 8 versus just being better than the other guy. And I think that's going to be one of his main challenges.
James, very quickly, if you can just tell us, how did Rudy Giuliani do? He was up in Manchester on Friday. You think he's going to run here?
I don't know if he's going to run. But let me say this, to badly paraphrase John McCain, the fundamentals of Rudy Giuliani in New Hampshire anyway are strong. I mean, the fact is the guy is in second place. There isn't a lot of buzz around him. I mean, the audience for his big dinner here was about 140. I went to the exact same event, just for context, exact same event in 2006 with Bill Frist, and he had like 3 times as many people. So in terms of buzz, who were showing up, it's not there. But the fundamentals are strong. He's in second place, according to our last poll. I think he's definitely in second place if you take a number of conservatives who could split up that conservative pie. And we got 43% of independents voting in this thing. He could be a big player.
And James, that of course means he's going to go straight to Florida and skip New Hampshire. James Pindle from WMUR up in New Hampshire. Really appreciate it.
It looks really sunny in New Hampshire.
Beautiful day.
And trees
Beautiful
with
day.
leaves on them?
How about that?
All right.
Not our New Hampshire.